Well, it's 11 o'clock on the dot right now, and I just got here. There wasn't any trucks out this road, which isn't surprising considering the weather. It's 38 degrees right now, and the wind's kind of out of the north. I'm not going to take my rain jacket, but I'm going to take the umbrella. We're going to take advantage of this wind and rain. We should be able to get in there pretty quiet. I might have to put the camera up though because of the rain. I want to try and keep it as dry as possible. I'll update you guys when we get to the tree. Well, we're all tucked in here. I had the stand hung and was stepping into the stand at 12 o'clock. I snuck through the woods like I was the one being hunted. I was trying to be stealthy. I did kick 2 deer up next to the truck. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as I got back here, there was a small-bodied deer feeding on those oaks up there. It blew once and took off. So many deer back here, it makes it hard to get in. I was really torn on what I wanted to do setup-wise. Obviously, I'd like to push a little deeper. But with this north wind, deeper would be fine if we're assuming that buck or a buck is in this bedding area. But if one's just cruising, or one does what the one did yesterday, I'd be screwed, and a lot of the other deer would eventually get my wind too. So I opted to be a little more conservative. I do have a shot down to the creek bottom, about 33 or 35, depending on where it's at. I do have a smoking hot big rub right here next to the tree. Deer coming off the coming out of this bedding area, but the wind's coming like this. Hopefully we catch one cruising this downwind side. I set up basically to hopefully keep most of the deer above me. But if a buck cruises at 2/3 or even the bottom third, we should be in the money. Well, we just saw our first deer of the evening. It's gotten really calm. But it was that little dark colored racked 1.5-year-old. Him and that other 1.5-year-old fed behind me for a couple of hours yesterday. Or it wasn't yesterday, it was probably day 5. So like November 4th. They're up there right next to the tree I hunted that night too. I hadn't seen the other one yet, but I'm sure he's close by. Hopefully a big one doesn't do that. If we see one, we'd be screwed. He seemed kind of nervous, which is not good. My wind isn't blowing to him, but who knows? that crazy deer. I know I'm out of focus, but it's gonna have to do. I was where I needed to be for that big deer. He was coming right on the string. And when you know it, he got downwind of those does up there, and he turned on a dime and went straight for them. It's a big deer. We're probably done tonight. I'm cold, and then seeing that deer did not help. We're probably done for tonight, but if we play our cards right, we can kill this deer. I thought it was getting ready to happen right there. That's hunting.
Wow. That's all I can say. I think this needs a little bit of an explanation. I haven't looked back to see what, if anything, I got on the video, but I don't think I really got anything, or if I did, it was very little. So going in there, I felt pretty good that it was going to be a good evening. You know, you see a big buck in the rut like that, like I did yesterday morning, in the back of your mind, you know, even the sign tells me that there's one living right here, and I saw him going back to what I thought was a bedding area, judging by other deer. But even with that, you still have that in the back of your mind that he was, you know, from forever away and was just looking for a doe. Even with that, I felt good going into tonight. Well, we had a forecasted north wind, and yesterday morning he come up out of the creek bottom, and if I was to push in deeper like I wanted to, a north wind would blow my wind back into that creek bottom about where he come out of it. And I didn't feel like he'd come out of that creek bottom again, but I wasn't sure. And not only that, is a lot of those does work down the ridge, and if I'd pushed in deeper, almost a certainty I would have had deer get my wind. So I opted to play it like what I would call cautiously aggressive. I still set up, you know, in the vicinity of where I felt like I needed to be. I kind of split the difference between the fresh rubs coming off out of that bedding into the creek bottom and where I'd seen those does and where I'd seen him. I kind of just picked a good tree, and I got in about 12. I didn't see any deer till about 3, and I saw one of those 1.5-year-old bucks I saw a few days ago. And then I had 3 does come off out of the bedding, feed under the oaks for a while, and about the same time 2 does come from across the creek up by me. And then right at about sunset, I kind of hear something, and I look over, and boom, there's that buck. He's at probably 45, 50 yards at that point, coming on a string. And at that point, it's like mass chaos for me. Grab my bow, turn on the Tacticam, grab the camera, and he kind of stops and was like looking up towards where those does had fed off to. And I catch glimpses of them every now and then. I'd say they were probably 60 to 80 yards up the hill. So then he puts his head down and comes back, or keeps going on the path he was on. And I'm like, he's dead. At this point, he's, I saw him at 50, then he's 40, he's 35, he stops, looks up the hill, continues on to 30, stops again, looks back up the hill, and I guess at this point he finally got downwind of him. Turns on a dime and goes straight up to him, walking dead away. He's at 30 yards when he does that. Just don't have a shot, or I had a shot then. He goes up, don't see him. I was like, well, dang. When I looked and I saw him, the way he was walking, I was like, that deer's dead. Well, he did what mature bucks do and found a way out. Well, I think I grunted and did a snort wheeze with my mouth, and some deer lets out the loudest buck growl I've heard across the creek, probably 80 yards from me, pretty much downwind of me. Never saw that deer, but it wasn't a minute later and that crazy looking deer come out of the bedding, stiff-legged, went off the side of the hill. I may have got a little bit of him, I'm not sure. Well, it gets down to like the last 7-8 minutes of legal, and I'm kind of sitting there debating on whether I wanted to leave the stand, even though it wasn't perfect, but it probably had as good a chance as any. And I hear footsteps, and it's like heavy ones, and I like knew it was that buck. Finally see him. It's probably 5 minutes till the end of legal, and it's pretty dark. And I see a body, and I look, boom, it's him. He's at 30 yards broadside walking. And by the time he gets into like kind of a lane I got, he's probably at 35. I draw back, and it's just too dark. I can't for sure tell if there's anything between me and him, and it was like a silhouette, and it was a dark silhouette at that. So I let down, he went on. Tore the stand down, snuck out of there. As I was packing up, there was a deer that blew up and out the ridge, kind of the direction he went, but it sounded like a smaller deer. And in fact, one of the deer come kind of trotting back by me when that one blew, so I don't know what that was about. That deer's looking for a doe pretty hard. My main concern is that he'll find one tonight. If he doesn't find one tonight, I feel like we've got a chance in the morning. To see that deer one time on public land is a blessing. 2 times in back-to-back days just doesn't happen very much. I mean, I feel like the only reason I'm seeing that deer is because I am literally in his area. I don't think it's a coincidence that, I kind of staged my way into this spot, pushing it another 100 yards, and when I finally get back in there is when I get on him. So we may never see him again. That said, the first shooter that comes in range is still getting shot, but at this point it'd be kind of cool to kill him. He's a very, very nice deer, 140 inches plus all day long. And he looks good. But I'm going to take a look at the footage to see if you can tell anything, and go back, get in bed. And I tell you, having these encounters makes 3:30. I mean, I'll shoot out of bed like a rocket. It's a good feeling getting on deer like that on public. Did it in Ohio, done it here now. Hopefully I can kill one in the next 8 or 9 days, and then we can maybe go try and do it. Then maybe we can try and go do it in another state next year. We'll see you in the morning.